Hi everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And it's a rant time. It certainly is a rant time because I'm just going off the back of what I heard at Eddie Howe's press conference the other day with regards to Anthony Elanga. That's right. Now, just a little bit of mitigation before I get into this. I kind of understand what Eddie Howe is trying to do, but the way that he's talking about it and the tone that he's using just really flicks my ball bag. It really winds me up. And it's indicative of the modern day kind of woke society. And I hate using the W word, but on this instance, it's absolutely apt to use it, where you can't criticize a player for being absolutely shit and without being attacked and accused of not being supported. But I'll get right into that in a minute. Before I do, a little reminder, smash subscribe if this is the kind of thing you guys like. Help get us to the next milestone. Loads of football content, Evermore YouTube channel, rants like I'm about to get into, previews, post-match analysis, the whole shebang, transfer stories, you name it. This is the place to be. So what am I talking about? What did Eddie Howe say? So in the press conference, Eddie Howe was asked about Anthony Elanga, and people have noticed quite recently that Anthony Elanga is even worse than he was a few months ago, and people are putting it down to confidence. There's this tagline, obviously, they're a confidence player, and I get that. I do get that. You know, it's hard when there's a lot of people kind of murmuring and going, oh, what you know, when you're getting ready to come off the bench, right? But this goes both ways. Footballers have got to give those fans something to get behind and something to trust and cheer. And trust is a key word here. Anthony Elanga has played 26 times for Newcastle United, and he's only got 2 assists in total. One of them in the Champions League against a bunch of fucking part-timers in USG, and then one in the Premier League, which memory serves, I can't remember who the fuck it was against. It was Everton, possibly. I don't know. Maybe Everton, possibly, I think. But he's not been very good. Let's get it right, okay? And the reason I have little sympathy for this, I do understand what Eddie Howe is saying. I'll get that out of the way right now. He's the manager. He's got to back his players. He's got to show his players that he's supportive of them and that the teammates are supportive of them and the fans are supportive of them. Now, Newcastle United fans are some of the most loyal, supportive fans you'll ever meet. You know, whether they're in the ground or not. I know social media is very different and somebody misplaces one pass and they're jumped upon. But those fans have been massively patient with Anthony Elanga. He was 55 million quid. And I keep saying it, in a window where Brian Mbeumo was available, where Mohamed Kudus was available, we spent 55 million quid on Anthony Elanga. You know, that's even just inside the Premier League. Never mind, outside the Premier League. Foreign talent you could have brought in for probably 20 million, 10 million less. You know, even Semenyo's gone for 65, for fuck's sake. And he's probably the best right winger in the league right now. We spent 55 million quid on this kid. He was the first signing through the door from Nottingham Forest, Premier League proven. He was supposed to improve the right-hand side that we've all complained about needs improving for a long time. We sold the young kid who looked brilliant, like he was going to improve it, in the shape of Yankuba Minter because of PSR, before you all start jumping on me on that one. And we've blown 55 million quid on Anthony Elanga. And he does not look like he's worth a bean. He really does not. He's been here for ages, and I haven't seen anything from the lad pre-season, through the league, through the Champions League, really, to tell me he's worth anywhere near the cost that we paid for him, or that he's going to be a massive improvement on Jacob Murphy. I'm sorry, but I haven't, and neither of those fans in the crowd, and that's why they're starting to lose a bit of patience with him. They're groaning when he gets the ball, they're grumbling when he's coming off the bench because they don't think this kid's going to impact the game. Now, you know, the fans do play a part in helping players feel confident and you know, and feel like they can do things, but fuck me, the players got to do something as well. Eddie Howe, you know, he's turning around saying, you know, his wish is that he has an environment. It was the most fucking namby-pamby woke bullshit I've ever heard in my life from Eddie Howe. It really was. You know, oh, we've got to hope for an environment where, you know, he can feel, you know, safe and, you know, and play with freedom and all that. He's fucking crap. He can't trap a bag of cement. The ball comes to him. He's either running it out of play or he runs down dead channels and he doesn't pick up passes. He doesn't spot where his teammates are. You know, you can ask the fans to be as nice as you fucking want, Eddie, but they're not going to change that from the lad. What are you doing on a coaching pitch with him? That's what I would ask. I'm sick to death of fans getting this lobbied at them. I really am. Fans, it's all the fans' fault. If a striker kind of hit the fucking back of the net, it's the fans' fault. If a winger kind of cross the ball or beat a man, it's the fans' fault. You know, fuck me. I mean, yes, the fans play a massive part in football, right? But good players, quality players, can raise their game and put performances in and play even if the crowd were on their back. He cited Anthony Gordon and Joe Linton as comparisons, and I get what he's doing there. He wants Anthony Elanga to have a similar kind of character arc that those two did. I mean, Joe Linton's was way, way bigger than Anthony Gordon's. Anthony Gordon was a good player, came here and didn't set the world alight, was a little bit moody and huffy. I remember him coming off the bench against Brentford, but then he's had 18 months, Gordon, of looking really good. But Joe Linton was a total transformation from a misfiring striker to midfielder. But even in Joe Linton's darkest times, he was getting in positions and he was doing something. He was in and around the box. Yeah, he was fresh air kicking it or he was missing it, right? But he was getting in there. Anthony Elanga's not showing anything that shows me he's anywhere close to improving and getting to the Anthony Elanga that we saw at Nottingham Forest. And my worry is did we sign a purple patch player once again, like Miggy Almiron when he was with us? I know he worked his nuts off, Miggy. You couldn't accuse him of anything less than that. But he had that biggest purple patch of his career. We should have flogged him then. We should have flogged him for 50 million quid. I heard, was it one of the guys in True Faith asked that question today? Why did nobody give us 55 million for Almiron? Because we wouldn't have fucking sold him. Because Howe wasn't going to sell him. We should have sold Almiron at the height of his purple patch, got the 50 million or 40 million in the bank, then we wouldn't have had to sell Elliot Anderson or Yankuba Minte possibly, because the books would have been balanced. But we didn't do it. Forest have cashed in big time here, absolutely had our pants down and slapped both cheeks with a massive hand. We've got a big handprint on both Newcastle United's arse cheeks, signing this kid for 55 million quid. He is dink. I cannot see any improvement from this kid at all. You can come at me in the comments and call me harsh and all that, right? I've seen enough of this lad to say he ain't doing it, right? He reminds me of Gabriel Obertan. Obertan actually makes him look fucking worse. I think Obertan played better than he did. At least Obertan ran with purpose. Anthony Elanga is awful. Honestly, we're better off trading the Newcastle Athletics team if we can and let him fucking sprint for them, because he's lightning quick, but he can't do nothing else with the ball. And I get what Howe is doing, but honestly, you cannot just lobby that at the fans. I think that's really patronising by the manager. These fans, certainly the fans that go to the ground through fucking rain, sleet and snow, through great or shit performances, those fans do back the players. They don't grumble easily. Anthony Elanga's 26 games of absolute fucking shitness has caused those fans to grumble and doubt that player. And you can't just throw it back at them and say, come on, guys, you've got to be more positive, got to cheer them on. He needs to show something to the fans as well to show that he's worth a light. And he's not showing out. He really, really isn't. There's fans asking now, I'm one of them, what's happening with young Shang-Shu that was signed from South Korea? He showed more in pre-season half a game than Anthony Elanga showed all pre-season and in the start of the season. If I think about Anthony Elanga's greatest hits in a Newcastle shirt, right, the only thing I can think of is a couple of nice runs of pace against Liverpool and Barcelona where he squared it to Gordon and Gordon fluffed it. So yeah, the sliding door moments. If he squares it at Gordon against Villa, gets an assist straight away, maybe he kicks on and becomes the player we thought he was. If one of those assists against Barcelona and Liverpool go through, maybe he kicks on and becomes the player we thought he was going to be. But he's regressing worse and worse and worse. I don't even think he was injured when he was out of the team. I think Howe just took him out because he's just not doing it. He's just not showing any signs of improvement. And the baddest thing is about this, the worst thing is, baddest thing, what kind of grammar is that? The worst thing about this is that 55 million quid down the shitter on this player. We scouted him for 2 years apparently, and we blew 55 million sheets on the lad. I just don't get it. It's a terrible signing. It really is. And if Eddie Howe is the man who's responsible for that signing, then he's got to take the flak for it. No wonder he wants us all to put our arms around him, get the guitar out, sandals on your feet and sing fucking Kumbaya to hope that he comes back some kind of remnants of the Forest form, because this shit transfers on Eddie Howe's desk because he's the one who pushed for it. So, no wonder he wants that. But I thought it was quite patronising. I think it's quite insulting to the fans. I think the fans have got a God-given right. As I say, you have a God-given right as a football fan to question a player, to question a manager. Anytime you deem fit, you're a football fan. Your opinion is your opinion. One person's superstar is another person's shithouse. That's just the variety of football opinion. That's what happens in all clubs around the world. I was talking to a Barcelona fan the other day, and he was saying that he wasn't overly keen on Rashford. And I'm thinking, the Rashford that scored 2 worldies against us, but that's football. people have different opinions of players. People think one player is great, one player is not. You see it right across the world. But for some reason, fans are attacked because players are massively underperforming. Fans are accused of not getting behind players because they're massively underperforming, and I hate it. It's a sad indictment in the modern day world where you're not allowed to criticise somebody. Criticise, yes. Abuse, no. Don't slide in their DMs and give them abuse or racial abuse like Joe Willett got. That makes you a fucking arsehole. Don't do that. But criticise their performance and say they're not a good player 100%. You're allowed to do that. Anthony Elanga has been the worst signing since the takeover at this football club, and without a shadow of a doubt. Do I see him improving and becoming the player that we thought we signed? No, I don't. I really, really don't. I think come the end of the season, I think he's going to end the season mediocre, shit performances. His stats will be honking, and I think we'll get rid of him at the first opportunity that we have. And let's just hope we go and sign a proper right winger who can do something. Thank God Harvey Barnes is happy to play there, because old Moody Tits Gordon won't play there, because Barnes has given us goals and quality from that right-hand side that Elanga sure as shit isn't. But with Murphy's injury, yeah, he's going to be out for a few weeks. Will Asula's coming back, and don't know how long away he is, but by the sound of it, Howe doesn't fancy Asula either. But Anthony Elanga, I do hope he comes good, right? I really hope. He starts against Wolves tomorrow, has an absolute fucking blinder, gets a goal and an assist, and I'm eating my words on the post-match review. I generally want that to happen. I want Elanga to do well, but I just don't think he's going to. I think that we've paid for a purple patch player, that players like Elliot Anderson made him look better. Players like Chris Wood, who's in the form of his life, made those crosses look better. And I think we've signed this player, we've paid way too much money for him, and I think it's an awful signing. It doesn't matter if the fans blow him kisses or wear I Love Elanga shirts in the crowd. I don't think his performances will get to the level that we expect them to be. But that's just my thoughts on that, guys. Wanted to jump on, give you a quick opinion of it. I fucking hate this, blame the fans or put the onus on the fans shit. It's like absolving the players of any responsibility for bad performances, and it really, really winds me up. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Keep it ever more. Have a belter. See you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.